Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1809B, and today's date is March 7th, 2019, and the title of the episode is Dark to Light, but Something's Lurking in the Shadows. Before we get started, I wanted to talk about security. Did you know installing the Facebook app on your Android or iPhone automatically gives them your right consent to collect the history of your precise location? There is a setting called Location History on your Facebook app that comes enabled by default. Now, apps can still track where you are and what you do online using your IP address and browsing history. To protect yourself from these threats and attacks on your privacy, use Virtual Shield. This month, Virtual Shield is offering a spring special of 30% off all VPN plans and all premium add-ons. So protect your personal data now and click the link below. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, we know that the deep state, they are in a deep panic, and we know that the Mueller report, well, that's going to be released very soon. And we know that Attorney General Barr gets that report. But the deep state, they understand that they don't have an insurance policy anymore. And we know that everything is going from dark to light. Q has been telling us this. Flynn has been changing his Twitter page, letting us know we are going from dark to light. But something's lurking in the shadows. And I'm a little concerned because as we get closer and closer to not the Mueller report so much, because the mainstream media and the different individuals like Nadler and Schiff and Clapper and many others, they've already told us that the Mueller report is going to be a nothing burger. Mainstream media is already reporting that it's going to be a nothing burger. They're going to try to play it up and all that kind of stuff. I think what they're really worried about, and which is rightfully so, they should be worried about the declassification, because this is going to expose many, many individuals, and then you're going to get into other things, and they're going to lose trust. Now, is this going to happen right away? No, but they know that it's coming. They don't know exactly the date and the time. And what I think is lurking in the background, and Q has been telling us that they've heard chatter and expect some type of false flag in the next 10 days. I think Q needs to expand this a little bit, because we're getting some indicators that we've gotten before that something else is happening. And I don't think these packages that were in the London transit system where they found them and they can, create a fire, I think this is a very small part of it. I don't think this is it. I think this is the precursor to something much, much larger. And we'll be talking about that in a little bit. But let's start off with Michael Cohen. We know that Michael Cohen, he appeared before the House Intelligence Committee yesterday in a closed-door interview. And CNN coincidentally received information as the hearing was taking place. Yes, it was a leak. Most likely Schiff, little leaking Schiff, leaked it all out. And CNN reported that Michael Cohen provided the House Intelligence Committee with documents showing edits to his false written statement that he delivered to the Senate Intel panel in 2017 about the Trump Organization's effort to potentially build a Trump Tower in Moscow. The documents would back up claims Michael Cohen made to the House Oversight Committee last week that Trump's personal attorney, Jay Sekulow, made the changes to his written statement. And CNN cited multiple sources familiar with the matter. You mean Schiff and others? So CNN claimed the documents Michael Cohen provided to the House Intel panel showed Trump's lawyer made edits to Cohen's 2017 written statement. In other words, CNN's fake news report floated the idea that President Trump's lawyers suborned perjury from Michael Cohen. But it all started to fall apart. Later on, after everything was leaked and after CNN put out this story, their story fell apart. And they had to make a major update to their original article, which of course completely changed the story. CNN update actually states that Cohen and his own lawyers made edits to his written statement, not Trump's lawyer. So once again, they got caught in peddling fake news. Now, Maggie Haberman, tweeted out the following about Michael Cohen regarding his pardon. Statement from Lanny Davis, an attorney for Michael Cohen, regarding pardons. Prior to Michael Cohen's decision to leave the Joint Defense Group and tell the truth on July 2, 2018, Michael was open to the ongoing dangling of a possible pardon by Trump representatives privately and in the media. During that time period, he directed his attorney to explore possibilities of a pardon, at one point with Trump's lawyer Rudy Giuliani, as well as other lawyers advising Trump. But after July 2, 2018, Mr. Cohen authorized me as a new lawyer to say publicly Mr. Cohen would never accept a pardon from President Trump, even if he offered it. That continues to be the case, and his statement at the oversight hearing was true and consistent with his post-joint defense agreement commitment to tell the truth. So Donald Trump Jr. replied to Maggie Haberman's tweet and said the following. So Cohen's lawyer is admitting that Cohen committed perjury last week when he said he never sought a pardon. Just making sure we are all on the same page here. CC Department of Justice. And then we have Trump out there, and he is hitting back very hard at Nadler, Schiff, and others who are pushing these ridiculous investigations into his personal business. He tweeted out the following. Congressman Chris Stewart, no one is accusing the president of a crime, and yet they, the Democrats, are issuing hundreds of subpoenas. This is unprecedented. They are desperately trying to find anything they can, even a punctuation mistake in a document. They're just searching through things, trying to find something. And I notice when Schiff and Nadler and the rest are out there saying that we need the report from Barr. Once he gets it from Mueller, he should hand it right over. But we know it was already leaked to them. They already have the whole thing, and they're going to have the whole thing. They probably have it before it's even written. But if we look at the actual law, 28 CFR section 600.9, notification and reports by the Attorney General. If we go all the way down to section C, it says the following. The Attorney General may determine that public release of these reports would be in the public interest to the extent that the release would comply with applicable legal restrictions. All other releases of information by any Department of Justice employee, including the special counsel and staff, concerning matters handled by special counsels shall be governed by the generally applicable departmental guidelines concerning public comment with respect to any criminal investigation and relevant law. The Attorney General is the one who decides what's going to happen with the Mueller report. Congress doesn't do it, and they can push as much as they want. Barr is going to decide. Now remember, Mueller went off in all different directions in this investigation. And of course, this is what these individuals want. They're trying to find dirt on Trump. But Barr most likely will say, no, his mandate was Russian collusion. This is what we're looking at. Everything else is out of scope. Even though Rod Rosenstein had this memo allowing him to broaden the scope, Barr, I believe, is going to say, nope, this is all we see. Everything else was not in the scope of the special counsel. That's why Barr is there. And remember, the Senate voted him in. So we see the Senate, they've confirmed Trump's judicial nominee who supported a lawsuit challenging Obamacare. In a vote 52-47, the Senate approved Chad Riedler's nomination to the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. And we also see that another individual, Allison Rushing, she was confirmed to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals. And again, Democrats, they all blasted these individuals. We don't want them, of course, but they both were pushed in, and now they are in these courts. The positions are getting filled right now. And you can see those in the Democratic Party, the deep state, they don't like this whatsoever. We see right now that Trump, he has secured funding for more than half of the border wall already. The administration now has funding for about 444 miles of a total of 722 miles desired by the Trump administration. So right now, Trump is building 445 miles of wall, because that's the money he has right now. That's going to take some time. Right now, 111 miles of new or replacement wall is either being built or is in progress on the southern border. So these individuals who are challenging the national emergency, Trump has some time, because he can build up to 445 miles of wall before he even needs the money from the national emergency. So while they're arguing in court, and I believe the Department of Homeland Security, the border individuals, they're all testifying that, yes, this is a national emergency. They're going to be bringing up statistics like we did yesterday about how many illegals are coming into this country. Back when Obama wanted 3.7 billion, there was only between 60 and 90. Now it's around 260,000, and they're having a problem giving Trump the 5.7 billion. But I think Trump, in the end, is going to win this hands down. Now, we know out in Venezuela, Guaido is trying to push the agenda of the neocons, of the deep state. I think Trump and the Patriots, they're allowing them to do this. Just like in Syria and many other places, they allow these people to show their true colors. And the mainstream media is going along with this like there's no tomorrow. From the New York Times, they report a backup plan is needed to prevent famine in Venezuela. The Financial Times appeals for desperate economic aid to reach the country. Now, the mainstream media has been pushing out that Venezuela is in a lot of trouble. Now, Russia, China, and many other countries have been giving Venezuela a lot of aid. Maduro will not let aid in from the U.S. because the CIA, the neocons, they smuggle weapons via the aid. This is why they won't let the aid in. We saw this in Ukraine. We saw this in the Middle East. And they're all catching on to the script here. So it's not that he doesn't want aid. He is receiving aid from other sources. Now, what's very interesting is that testimony from the human rights investigator designated by the United Nations to assess the situation in Venezuela has been completely ignored. Alfred de Zayas was the first UN investigator to go to Venezuela in 21 years. And he has written a total of 13 reports for the UN Human Rights Council. He said, "I am the first and only UN reporter to have visited Venezuela in 21 years. I have opened the door for other reporters and even for the new UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, who was officially invited in December. My visit lasted from November 26th to the 5th of December. I met with members of the National Assembly, Chamber of Commerce, Diplomatic Corps, opposition groups, non-governmental organizations, church leaders, professors, university students. There was no humanitarian crisis as confirmed to me. Nothing to compare with Gaza, Yemen, Syria, Somalia, Central African Republic, etc. But indeed, there was a scarcity of food and medicines. The situation has gotten much worse since December of 2017 because of sanctions and the economic and financial blockade." Now, he also went on to say that if you know a humanitarian crisis, like in Gaza and Syria, Sudan, Yemen, and the like, you wouldn't say there was a humanitarian crisis in Venezuela. And at no point, when I was walking the streets of Venezuela, that I felt threatened or saw violence and did not consider the country was experiencing a humanitarian crisis. But I do see human rights being used more and more to destroy human rights with the complicity of the mainstream media. I think it would have been sensible to say that the BBC or Washington Post or Financial Times, well, at no time since my report to the Human Rights Council at the UN have I been approached by any of these organizations who actually have responsibility to inform the wider public of what is really happening. So everyone is ignoring this individual who's actually spoken to a lot of people down there. None of the newspapers, none of these mainstream outfits are even talking to him. They're just pushing the same agenda that they've been pushing for a very long time. It's almost like out in North Korea. The other day, we talked about how the intelligence organizations are pushing these satellite photos saying that North Korea, they're building their missile launch sites And they took this opportunity because the talks in North Korea, they didn't pan out for Trump at the time. The Cohen hearing was happening at the same time. And I believe that Trump is making a completely different play. So they took this opportunity where they feel like, oh, since the talks didn't go well, let's show that North Korea is building these nuclear missile sites and they're going to use them on America. There's only one problem with all this. Yes, these are satellite photos, but these are satellite photos of North Korea's Sohae satellite launching station. They've been constructing this for quite a while. The Trump administration is completely aware of this. If you look back in 2018, they took these photos and they said, oh, look, they're dismantling the site. No, they were building it still. This is a commercial satellite launch area. The Trump administration already knows about this. Kim Jong-un has told Trump this is what it is. They had inspectors down there. This is exactly what it is. But they're just using this to scare everyone. Trump, when he came away from the talks from North Korea, Trump said there'll be no more missile tests. He said this before, and there haven't been any more missile tests. Now, they might be preparing to launch a test rocket into space to launch a satellite. Now, of course, the mainstream media is going to say they're launching a missile, but then again, look, it will come out that no, it was a satellite launch. I believe Iran did this a while back, and they said it was a missile launch, and then they reversed the story and said no, it was a satellite launch. Actually, out in Syria, we finally got the OPCW report. Well, this is not the version that is being reported to the public via the mainstream. They kind of took it, edited, and made their own version. Now, what the OPCW has said is that there was no proof of chemical weapons, of chlorine, of sarin, or anything like that. Actually, they don't know of anyone that died during this attack. Actually, they're calling this attack a false flag by the paid mercenaries. So, what we were told way back when Trump fired the missiles into Syria, the mainstream media put it all out there. It's completely fake, phony, and false. But Trump used this to his advantage. He didn't fire the missiles on the Syrian army or the Russian army. He fired the missiles at the deep state, destroying certain areas, maybe chemical production, maybe their ammo, and many other areas, because Trump, the Patriots, warned Russia and Syria way ahead of time, and they cleared the airfield. It was barely touched. So once again, we can see that the OPCW went in, they found out what really happened, and they're not seeing what the mainstream media was reporting. Let's get into some of Q's posts here. This is post 2984. Q says, Facebook returning to the news. And yes, we do see Facebook returning to the news. LifeLog, DARPA ends, Facebook begins. LifeLog, DARPA team transfer to Facebook. What DARPA team members past present work on for Facebook? What divisions? So Facebook, they have a connection with CIA and DARPA. The DARPA connection. Dr. Anita Jones, former Director of Defense Research and engineer for the U.S. Department of Defense, while with DARPA, her responsibilities include serving as an advisor to the Secretary of Defense. Dr. Jones was also served on the board of directors for InQtel and is now employed by BBN. This is the same board James Beyer sits on. He is also employed by BBN. DARPA runs the Information Awareness Office, whose task it is to collect data on as many people as possible. Their website is full of reference to the war on terror, terrorism, and terrorists. The IAO claims its programs are for identifying and responding to threats of terrorism. Facebook is an extension of the IOA. This is why Q is telling us that DARPA transferred to Facebook. So when LifeLog was discontinued, Facebook came online. Coincidence? I don't think so. It seems like they were working on the same type of project and they transferred everything over to Facebook, because if they said, hey, LifeLog, we're going to use this on the American people to spy on you, collect all your information, it wouldn't go over that big. So if they transferred their technology over to Facebook and said, hey, look, it's a way to meet people and it's a way to keep track and keep in contact with others, this is a perfect way, and it's a hidden stealth way to spy on every single person. Q went on to say, locate 3 public, 9 total, 6 non-public, building 8 exposed, here, when. So back in post 1135 on April 11th, Q told us about Facebook and building 8, and then mentions China. Let's continue with the post. Puts a kill bracket around April 11th, 2018. This is when Q told us about building 8. Think scramble. Offline scrub. Offline scrub is in bold, all caps, kill brackets. Post Xbox, PlayStation chat logs drop. Remember when Xbox, PlayStation, the chat logs were dropped and they went down for a little while? Well, Q says Microsoft shut down immediately post drop. So Q made a drop telling everyone about the chat logs, and this is how the deep state used to communicate, and then all of a sudden, Xbox, PlayStation, the network was shut down. Q went on to say, Building 8 news release, restructuring Building 8 release. December 14th, 2018, rest in peace. Facebook said, we're discontinuing Building 8, the project there. Q then gives us a TechCrunch article, and this is from 2018. This is 12/14/2018. Facebook restructures Building 8, separating projects into reality labs and portal groups. A Facebook spokesman confirmed the reorganization to Business Insider. TechCrunch has reached out to Facebook for further comment, and Boz tweeted out, this is misleading. We renamed the Building 8 team portal after the device launch. The research we initially started in Building 8 continues in our Facebook Reality Labs research group. So Building 8 was not discontinued. It's not dead. So Q says rest in peace equals false. Reorganization was true. China, 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 China. All bold, caps, kill brackets. Open access, pay for play. Laws which prevent CIA operation inside the U.S. By law, the CIA is specifically prohibited from collecting foreign intelligence concerning the domestic activities of U.S. citizens. Its mission is to collect information related to foreign intelligence and foreign counterintelligence by direction of the President in Executive Order 12333 of 1981 and in accordance with procedures approved by the Attorney General. Q went on to say, bulk data collection, NSA, U.S.? Yes. Bulk data collection, CIA, Homeland? Yes. How does the CIA avoid law trigger RE umbrella spy Homeland? Well, we know this for a fact. The CIA uses other countries. Think Five Eyes. Facebook, this is in kill brackets, all bold caps, China _ Building 8. Google, kill brackets, caps, all bold, China _ Dragonfly. Twitter, all caps, bold, kill brackets, US leg track. Facebook track users, GPS, voice, and text? Yes. Does Google track users' GPS, voice, and text? Yes. Twitter track user GPS? Yes. This is in bold caps, kill brackets. Phone, pad, microphone, algo, in bed. All for marketing purposes as publicly disclosed? No. We know this is not for marketing. We know that this is not disclosed to the American people, that they're being spied on for other reasons. Who has access to bulk track data? CIA and other agencies. Who has access to bulk data? NSA and CIA and all the other agencies. If NSA has the ability to absorb data stream Utah in-house tools. Does CIA have the ability to collect data stream from funded networked offshoots, big tech? Yes, they do. Offshoots necessary to avoid CIA breach of U.S. domestic laws. Yes, they do it in other countries. And they use the tech companies to get this information. Amazon Server Cloud contract. They have it with the CIA. Amazon Server Cloud root data 1 through 9 domestic. Well, the Amazon Server Cloud technology is implemented at server farms, and they're throughout the world. They are located in Europe, Asia, Australia, South America. So they can use the tech companies. They have the information, and they can siphon the information off in the other countries. CIA tasked with gathering and analyzing info on foreign governments and individuals. Signet, covertly. NSA tasked with gathering and analyzing info on global scale, including domestic. What former U.S. president was CIA director? Bush. Then gave us an article, thedrive.com. George Bush saved the CIA. Think CIA, Brennan's in bold caps, kill brackets. Authority spy campaign, U.S. Senate under Hussein. Yes, they spied on many, many individuals under Obama. In the Senate, judges, Trump, you name it. And they used it to blackmail them. Think CIA install campaign, U.S. House and Senate infiltration. Same thing. This is in kill brackets, bold caps, part 1 of 9. Q. Let's move on to the next post. Post 2985. And Annan posted the following. Pentagon kills LifeLog project. Facebook was born pretty much the same time. And under it, it says finder of this should apply to NSA. Q. Q is confirming that yes, both of these happened at the same time and they are related. Post 2986, Q gives us a picture. It looks like the presidential picture and another pen on a piece of paper. Under this, it says, there's a Twitter link, and it's Michael Beatty, and it says, listening to Hannity radio in my car just now. Sean seems calm, confident, and at peace. He mentioned 3 different times, my sources are telling me all will be well and that justice is finally coming. It's coming. We hear his sources are very credible. Q. And I believe this pen is referring to the president and his administration and the Q team. And they are very credible. Post 2987. Q gives us a picture of a child saluting the American flag. Under it, there's a YouTube video. Now, this is the White Squall movie from 1996 with Jeff Bridges, Scott Wolf, where they repeat, where we go one, we go all. And under this, it says, never in our history has a communication project such as this taken place. Return power back to the people. Truth, transparency, and equal justice under the law. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men and women, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is the right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards of their future security. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Ronald Reagan. United We Stand, July 4th, 2019. Where we go one, we go all. And remember, Trump told us something's going to happen on July 4th, 2019. Post 2988. Q gives us a Twitter link to AmyBoo69, and it says, Facebook launches research lab building with former DARPA chief. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg announced that April 14th that Regina Dugan will guide Building 8, a new research group developing hardware projects that advance the company's efforts in virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and global connectivity. Q says, define LifeLog. Kill brackets, bold caps, DARPA. An ontology-based subsystem that captures, stores, and makes accessible the flow of one person's experience in interactions with the world in order to support a broad spectrum of associates, assistants, and other system capabilities. The objective of the LifeLog concept was to be able to trace the threads of an individual's life in terms of events, states, and relationships. And it has the ability to take in all of subjects' experience, from phone numbers dialed and email messages viewed to every breath taken, step made, and place gone. To find Facebook. The Facebook service can be accessed from devices within the internet connectivity, such as personal computers, tablets, and smartphones. After registering, users can create a customized profile revealing information about themselves. Users can post text, photos, multimedia of their own devising and share it with other users as friends. Users can use various embedded apps and receive notifications of their friends' activities. Users may join common interest groups. Compare and contrast. DARPA senior employees move to Facebook. DARPA terminates program February 4th, 2004. Facebook founded February 4th, 2004. DARPA equals Facebook. Q. Post 2989. Logical thinking. Did DARPA complete Bill Code taxpayer-funded LifeLog program? Yes, they did. And it was transferred then to Facebook. After completion, was there fear the public wouldn't accept the adoption if known it was a DoD CIA-backed program? Yes. Do you believe people would join a platform knowing it was under the control of the CIA and federal government? No. How do you lure the masses into entering all their personal info and private messages, i.e. their LifeLog, onto a new platform? Do you make it look cool? How did Facebook supposedly start and launch? Well, the story is Cameron and his brother are known for co-founding Harvard Connection, later renamed Connect U, along with Harvard classmate Divya Narendra in 2004. The Winklevoss brothers sued Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg for $65 million, claiming they stole their Connect U idea to create the popular social network site Facebook. Ivy League only? No. Develop a trend and or following? Yes. How do you keep the project running without public taxpayer funds? This is in kill brackets in bold. Department of Defense reported LifeLog was terminated to Congress, Senate, OS. Define black budget. A black budget is a government budget that is allocated or classified or other secret operations of a nation. The black budget is an account, expenses, and spending related to military research and covert operation. The black budget is mostly classified due to security reasons. Did Hollywood push Facebook? Yes. Do people follow the stars? Yes. Competitors systematically attacked MySpace to prevent competition. The largest collective social media platform in the world, billions logged, is owned and operated covertly by the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States of America. The more you know. Q. Post 2990. Q gives us everything from post 2989 and says expand your thinking. If covertly operated, and this is in bold and brackets, data accessible to project designators, Would they attempt to prevent any type of government regulation from being imposed? Yes, they would try to stop any type of government regulation. Expand your thinking further. Why was Mark Zuckerberg chosen as CEO, public figure, tasked to expand growth? Family tree of Mark Zuckerberg? Who is the wife of Mark Zuckerberg? Priscilla Chan. Family tree of wife. Her parents are Chinese Vietnam War refugees who arrived in America in refugee boats. So Chinese and Vietnam. Think China. Why won't China allow Facebook? Situational awareness. Do they know it's an individual collection asset program being covertly operated by the CIA? I believe so. Do they know it's been expanded to tap into microphone of any device for listening and bulk data collection? Yes. Do they know it's been expanded to tap into the GPS router of the device for RT tracking? Yes. Do they know it's been expanded to tap into the camera function of the device in order to view, record all target designators? Yes. Q. Post 2991 gives us everything from Post 2990 and says 2 of 9, and this is in brackets and bold, complete. Post 2992 gives us a link to QZ.com. Google True Origin partly lies in CIA NSA research grants for mass surveillance. 2 decades ago, the U.S. intelligence community worked closely with Silicon Valley in an effort to track citizens in cyberspace, and Google is at the heart of that origin story. Some of the research that led to Google's ambitious creations was founded and coordinated by a research group established by the intelligence community to find ways to track individuals and groups online. DARPA to Google. This is all in bold, caps, and in kill brackets. Review past drops. Major steps underway to challenge these control pockets. Q. Post 2993 gives us another article, IQT, about in QTEL. So IQT is the not-for-profit strategic investor that accelerates the development and delivery of cutting-edge technology to national security agencies. Our work bridges the gap between the challenging technology needs of our government partners, the rapidly changing innovations of the startup world, and the venture community that funds those startups. IQT was established in 1999 to ensure that our country's intelligence agencies had access to innovative technologies from the startup community to help protect and preserve our nation's security. CIA leaders recognized that technological innovation had largely shifted from the purview of government R&D and large organizations to entrepreneurs and the startup community, who were developing much-needed technologies more quickly and less expensively, and continue to do so today. Q says, why did Snowden only engage and attack the NSA? The CIA was trying to eliminate all other intelligence-gathering organizations. If Snowden really cared about privacy, citizenship awareness, why didn't he expose the CIA main program? Because that wasn't his target. He worked for the CIA. Snowden was privy to DARPA, IQT, and NSA surveillance covert programs. Yes, he was. Why did Snowden only focus on NSA? Well, Snowden was a clown, a CIA operative, and had a task to infiltrate the NSA, expose PRISM to harm NSA and their ability of surveillance. And CIA would be the only game in town at this point. Where did Snowden work prior to NSA? CIA. Q says, ask yourself a very simple question. Would you go live to the public across the media all highly classified material, NSA, prior to getting to your end destination? Or would you logically travel to your end destination, then release publicly? Yes, normally that's what you would do. Was Russia the planned location? Most likely. Why Russia? Why did China let him out of the country? Well, because China didn't want to bring attention to what they were all doing. Remember, the CIA was working out of China. They were stealing a lot of stuff, spying on many individuals, and they didn't want the eyes turned toward China. Remember, way back, Q has told us, Russia, 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 when it really should be China, China, China. So let me continue here. Was there a red security alert put out to prevent passport travel across all nations? Yes. Why did China grant access to travel with the block in place? Because they wanted all the attention off of them. And where did they all want the attention? On Russia. Why Russia? Russia, Russia, Russia. They were going to use this later on for war and everything else, and to blame Russia for everything. Post 2994. Q says, people are pawns in their sick game of global domination. People are divided to prevent a rising of the people. People are divided and taught to fight themselves instead of the ruling class. Race versus race, religion versus religion, political versus political, class versus class, sex versus sex. When you are divided, you are weak. When you are weak, you have no power. When you have no power, you have no control. Stay strong, patriots. Stay united, not divided. You are what matters. You awake is their greatest fear. And their greatest fear is everyone awake and everyone united. Everyone united no matter what religion. Everyone united no matter what political affiliation. Everyone united no matter what class or sex. That is their biggest fear. Post 2995. Q in this post is responding to an Annan post, and the Annan posted a tweet from Sputnik, and it says, Mark Zuckerberg outlines new plan to build privacy-focused Facebook. Q says, trying to get ahead of something. What a coincidence, because Facebook is back in the news again. Zuckerberg is trying to get ahead of the privacy concerned and what they're working on now. Post 2996, and Annan says, Keck, Q, Mark Zuckerberg gets called out and immediately panics. Really nothing to see here. Q says, other articles prior to posts. Privacy push to cover for past future exposure issue. Data release non-marketing. There is no privacy. There is no way to turn off, even though app deletion. Their ability to extract info. How is that possible for a supposed non-government entity? Phones? Companies involved? Phone wipe? Resolve? It looks like many companies are in on this, and they are controlled by the intelligence organizations. Post 2997, Q gives us a link to the chive.com, and this is something is rotten in the Denver airport, and there's many different photos, and these photos are very strange. Now, an Annan posted this pic on Vote, and it says, big happenings, Q. Took all the photos that Q was showing us, and one of the photos had a date of March 19th, 1994. And the inscription in this is Denver International Airport, and it says, the time capsule beneath this stone contains a message and memorabilia to the people of Colorado in 2094. So we know that the clock is ticking down right now, and we know the clock is going to hit March 19th, which is 25 years from this date. And we can see that Q is trying to reference something about what is happening here. Now, it looks like General Flynn changed his background again. It looks like the sun is way up in the sky, which means we are now in the light phase. But something very interesting is happening. And I know we talked about this before, and Q gave us warning about these mail bombs that could start a fire. And I told you a while back that way before Q even mentioned this, when he mentioned false flags, they're hearing chatter, one of my YouTube videos about 4 years ago by Stephen Lenman, they restricted it, and this was a false flag in multiple cities. Now YouTube restricted another video 4 years ago about 9/11. Now it looks like the common theme here, because in this video we talked about false flags, is about false flags occurring, which makes me start to worry, because right before the shooting in Parkland, they started to restrict many of the shooting videos, not just on my channel, but on many people's. And this happened, weeks prior. I'm seeing the same thing happen once again. So this tells me that something is going to happen. Do I think it's going to happen when the Mueller report comes out? No, because the mainstream media, the different individuals like Schiff and Nadler and Clapper and all the rest are saying, I don't think the Mueller report's going to be that much. Yeah, they'll probably make a big deal of it in the beginning, but it's going to turn out to be absolutely nothing. I think what they're doing is they're preparing something much, much larger to happen during the D class. And it seems like they're checking for anything that has to do with false flags in cities or things that have happened in the past, and they're shutting them down. And this is very interesting. So this is something to watch, which means, and they don't know the date or time, so it looks like they're getting prepared for it. And I wouldn't be surprised if Q comes out and tells us that they're hearing additional chatter, or maybe Q will give us some disinformation to throw them off on the date, so they try to push their false flag, and then the D class comes out at another time. But we'll have to see how this all plays out. But just be aware of what is going on, because it seems like things are lurking in the shadows, even though we are going from dark to light. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.